Step one, we're gonna caramelize our fruit. We've done this a couple times together. When we caramelize something, we want two things to happen. We wanna hear our food cook, and we want to see it cook. We're eating green. Eating green. Eating green. We're eating green. Hi friends, welcome to another episode of Eating Green, where we redefine cannabis-infused food. My name is Chef Jordan Wagman. About 6 years ago, I sought the help of a naturopath. I was tired of dealing with the effects of my psoriasis. From that one meeting, I removed gluten, dairy, and refined sugar from my diet, and I started eating cannabis. 60 days later, my life changed. 30 pounds rolled off my body, and my psoriasis started to get better. I love creating foods that I grew up loving. I love eating the same foods today. Today, we're making one of my all-time favorites and one of my mom's all-time favorites, ice cream. We are making vegan infused caramelized pear and apple ice cream. And when we eat it, it's going to taste just like apple pie. Creating infused ice cream could not be easier, and we need basic kitchen equipment. We need a whisk and we need a bowl. Stay tuned, I'm gonna show you how. Step one, we're gonna caramelize our fruit. We've done this a couple times together. When we caramelize something, we want two things to happen. We wanna hear our food cook, and we want to see it cook. We want the little bubbles to be happening, and we want all that caramelization to take place. We're gonna add some avocado oil. Avocado oil has a nice high smoking point, and I'm gonna add my mixture of apples and pears right to this pan. We're going to toss them around just a little bit. I lost one, but that's okay. My squirrel friends will say thank you later, I'm sure. We're gonna caramelize these apples and pears. Caramelization. All the apple and the pear that's sitting on the bottom of this pan. The heat's getting to it, it's caramelizing all the natural sugars. Those get stuck to the bottom of the pan. That is my favorite four-letter F word, fond. F-O-N-D, and we pick up those little bits of food when we deglaze that pan with our maple syrup. We're gonna let this caramelize, we're gonna toss it around very infrequently, probably until about 5 minutes until they change color and start giving away some of their juice. Stay with me, we'll see you in about 5 minutes. It's been about 5 minutes. Our apples and pears, they've started to break down. The water has started to come out and the color has started to change. They started to turn golden brown, and all that beautiful fond has started to develop on the bottom of this pan. Here's where the magic starts to happen. We are going to add our maple syrup. That's going to deglaze that pan. Deglaze, just a fancy French term for we're adding liquid to a pan and lifting up all of those little bits of food that were stuck to the bottom of that pan during the cooking process. We're gonna add a little bit of cinnamon that's going to give us our beautiful sort of apple pie feel. We're gonna mix all of this in. I'm gonna cool this mixture right down to room temperature. We're going to transfer it over the blender. We're going to emulsify in our cannabis oil. We're going to take this mixture, we're going to pour it into a bowl that's been sitting in our freezer. It's nice and cold. Every 20 minutes, we're gonna go back to the freezer and we're going to whisk up that puree, and it's going to keep breaking up all those ice crystals to make our beautiful ice cream. I'll see you when this mixture is cool to room temperature in about 10 to 15 minutes. See you then. It's been about 15 minutes and our apples and pears have cooled to room temperature. I'm gonna transfer them into the blender, combine with my cannabis oil, and emulsify that mixture all together. We'll see you in a minute. So we took our apples and pears, we caramelized them in a hot sauté pan. We deglazed with maple syrup. After about 5 minutes, those apples and pears started to break down. All the water started to come out and they turned golden brown. We lifted up all that beautiful fond. Remember all that little food that got stuck to the bottom of the pan? We lifted it all up with our maple syrup. We added our cinnamon and we brought it down to room temperature. We combined it with our cannabis oil. We pureed it until smooth, and this is what we have here. We're going to transfer it into a bowl, and this bowl has been sitting in the freezer now for about 20 minutes or so, just to get cool. We're gonna take this mixture, we're gonna make sure it's cool, we're gonna put it to our freezer, and every 20 minutes we're gonna go back to it. And we are just going to break up all those ice crystals and make sure that it doesn't freeze into an ice cube. In about 2 or 3 hours, once we repeat that process every 20 minutes, you are going to have what is almost like eating an apple pie. I will see you in about 20 minutes. It's been about 20 minutes. I took this bowl from the freezer, I whisk it up just for about 30 seconds, and I throw it back into the freezer. Every 20 minutes for about 2 to 3 hours until I achieve the consistency I'm looking for. For me, I'm looking for something that's very similar to soft serve ice cream. I'll see you in about 2 hours. So we took our mixture out of the freezer every 20 minutes for about 2 hours until we achieved the perfect consistency. For me, like soft serve ice cream. Look at that. Caramelized, infused, pear and apple ice cream. Amazing. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Eating Green. And don't forget, eating green. We're eating green. Eating green, eating green.